Kenya and the United Nations have thawed the ice on the frosty diplomatic relations that saw President Uhuru Kenyatta skip the United Nations General Assembly last year. Uhuru has promised to attend the UN Climate Summit in New York in September. The UN Secretary General described President Kenyatta as the leading figure that will not only represent Kenya, but also reflects all the concerns of the African continent.
A meeting at status with the United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has brought to the fore the beginning of Uhuru's apparent opening to the West, which he has tactfully avoided since his ascendancy to power 1 year ago. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has committed to attending the UN Climate Summit in September in New York, and the United Nations Secretary General was upbeat in getting the Kenyan president attend the summit.
Convening a climate summit on September 23rd in New York for leaders from government, business, finance, and civil society. I am very much encouraged that President Kenyatta has confirmed his participation.
Kenya's diplomatic relations with the United Nations has been tense since 2013. President Uhuru Kenyatta made history skipping the 68th UN General Assembly in New York last year, the first time since independence in 1963 for Kenya not to be represented at the UN General Assembly. Geopolitics on the Kenyan cases at the ICC at the epicenter of Kenya's decision to skip the summit. President Uhuru Kenyatta, through Kenya's permanent representative to the UN, Kamau Macharia, wrote to Ban Ki-moon indicating the country's constitution did not allow a power vacuum since Deputy President William Ruto was attending his Hague trials. But as if warming up and thawing the ice, even Kenya's First Lady, Margaret Kenyatta, will take the Beyond Zero campaign to the sidelines of the UN summit. President Kenyatta given a central role of representing the African continent.
And I sincerely hope that not only representing Kenya, but also reflecting all the concerns of African continent, President Kenyatta will play a very important leading role.
We are doubling the diplomatic police unit and working further with the UN on its infrastructure improvement plans to ensure that the experience and work in Kenya for the world remains top class.
The UN boss equally pledged to have the body help the country deal with its homeland and regional security. Ban Ki-moon taking cognizance of terror posed by the militants from Kenya's neighboring countries, Somalia, and instability in South Sudan.
The United Nations is determined to work together with the Kenyan government in helping enhancing the capacities of Kenyan government and many African countries who are suffering from this international terrorism.
The UN commitment on security coming hot on the heels of travel advisories by the West. A diplomatic spat is brewing between Kenya and Britain over training of British soldiers at their Kenyan training base in Nanyuki. In what is seen by some as a counter-move to the advisories, Kenya has reportedly refused to renew an agreement with Britain to allow British soldiers in Nanyuki. Samugina, KTN.